Every passing second, there are 270,000 ships in all the seas of the world. If you look at the live maritime tracker, there are so many ships traveling in the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Atlantic Ocean that it looks like flies are sitting on honey. You will notice that these terrifying ships are traveling in any part of the sea without any obstacles. Then whether it is southern Australia, South India, South Africa, or the infamous Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda Triangle, about which many stories are famous, but the reality is exactly the opposite. Millions of cargo ships pass through here annually, and there is still no such spot on the live maritime tracker that is free of these colorful marks. But apart from all this, if you look at this part of South America, these heavy ships do not dare to go here. A sea route where ships refuse to go at any cost. This is called the Drake Passage, and today we will know why it takes on the most dangerous form of the sea. Welcome again to Info TV's videos. Viewers, this Drake Passage, which has taken the lives of thousands for centuries, once again made its presence felt on November 28, 2022, when this cruise ship named Viking Polaris went to show the passengers the incredible views of Antarctica. This 660-foot-long cruise ship had just landed in the calm waters of the Drake Passage, when it suddenly came in the grip of an extraordinary wave. By the way, these modern ships are made quite comfortable while keeping the safety of the passengers in mind. But this wave was higher than the Viking Polaris, and it shook the millions-ton ship like a paper boat. The windows of the ship broke, causing 4 passengers to be severely injured and 1 to lose his life. If you look at the data of the last 2 centuries, the Drake Passage has killed 683 people, and there is no record of how many ships have sunk here before that. After all, what is so mysterious about the Drake Passage that takes the ships coming here by storm and makes it the most dangerous sea route in the world? Although it looks like a very narrow road, it is 900 kilometers from Cape Horn to Antarctica in South America, and it is called the Drake Passage. The special thing about the Drake Passage is that the 3 oceans of the world meet here: the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic, and the South Sea. If you look at the depth of the sea, the Drake Passage is 11,150 feet deep, while on its left and right, the sea is 15,700 feet deep. It is named after Francis Drake, who was a famous pirate in the year 1577. But surprisingly, Francis himself never crossed the Drake Passage. He was a pirate who had the support of the British Queen. He used to loot the ships of Spain in the sea, which was Britain's enemy at that time. Because Francis Drake had the support of the British Queen, he used to loot any ship or city on the coast in the North Atlantic Ocean. Finally, he made so much space in the Queen's heart that he was chosen for a special mission. Britain wanted to enter South America in the same way because gold and silver reserves were found here in the mountains. Queen Elizabeth planned a mission in which the British Army was sent to South America with Francis Drake in 5 ships. A caravan of 200 people had to cross the Strait of Magellan in South America and reach Peru, where it was heard that there were a lot of gold reserves and the people there were very rich. In this mission, Francis Drake was leading the British officers and they couldn't digest it. And they started conspiring against Drake during the journey. After reaching the coast of Argentina in South America, Francis Drake accused his fellow British officers of treason and hanged them. And leaving 2 ships there, he had the remaining 3 ships cross the Strait of Magellan and reach the west of South America. It took him 16 days to reach the Pacific Ocean through the narrow route of the Strait of Magellan from Argentina. But as soon as he left the open sea, he was caught in the grip of a terrible storm. Because of this storm, these 3 ships split up. 1 ship reached Britain through the Strait of Magellan, thinking that Francis Drake was dead. The other ship, Drake Passage, thought it was the Strait of Magellan and went towards it, but there was no news of it later. After the storm stopped, Francis Drake thought that he was a little below the Strait of Magellan. He thought that he would go up along with the coast and enter the Strait of Magellan. But in fact, he was on top of the Strait of Magellan at that time. So he kept moving north, but he didn't find any way. As he moved, he looted every small and large village and ship on the way and collected gold and silver. Finally, he ended his journey in San Francisco. After this incident, Francis Drake said that there is an open sea route below South America which can be used to bypass the Strait of Magellan. Of course, Drake Passage is named after Francis Drake, but he himself did not cross it even once. After 40 years of Francis Drake's expedition, a Dutch explorer named Willem Schouten successfully crossed Drake Passage for the first time, but here the question arises that why is Drake Passage considered so dangerous? As you know, Drake Passage is a point where three seas meet each other: Pacific, Atlantic, and South Sea. The water of all three meets at this point, and because this road is not much wider than the ocean, when the water passes through here, its speed increases a lot. Due to the meeting of all three oceans, the amazing 15 crore cubic meters of water passes through Drake Passage in just 1 second. That is 600 times more than the water that passes through the largest Amazon River in the world in 1 second. So now you must have guessed how much water passes through Drake Passage. In addition to this, the world's most powerful sea current revolves around Antarctica, which is also called Antarctic Circumpolar Current or ACC. This fast flow of cold water keeps revolving around Antarctica, and because of this, the hot water of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans cannot reach Antarctica. This natural system also prevents Antarctica from melting in one way. Otherwise, if there was no ACC, the hot water of the Pacific and Atlantic would have melted Antarctica long ago. ACC keeps Antarctica safe by rotating in a clockwise direction, but a little water from it comes near Drake Passage and goes into the South Atlantic Ocean. This is why there is a risk of sudden high waves forming in this part of the ocean, and the biggest problem is that it is very difficult to predict these high waves in advance. Experts believe that while passing through Drake Passage, there are only two forms of the sea here, which have been named Drake Lake and Drake Shake. Drake Lake means that sometimes there are no waves here and the sea is silent like a lake. But when the waves form, there is no middle level, but they are very strong, and this condition is called Drake Shake. This is also the reason for most of the accidents here, because it looks different, but it is not. No one knows the real reason why it lives in different forms, but experts believe that it may be due to the change of the weather. The humid and hot winds of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans head towards Antarctica, which causes a difference in pressure in the atmosphere. They believe that perhaps this difference in pressure is what suddenly creates 20 to 30 meters high waves here. But there is no scientific evidence for this yet. Another threat is also being expressed in Drake Passage, that when the three oceans meet, the directions of the three are opposite to each other, which causes a whirlpool effect in the sea, which is also called a whirlpool. Because of this effect, it is very challenging for ships to get out of it, and if a dangerous wave occurs during this time, then even if it does not harm the ship, it does give a good swing. Often passengers fall ill due to this motion, so some slide it on the ship deck and enjoy it. But there have also been many cases in which passengers or crews fall into the water due to a shock. In Drake Passage, the water temperature is -6 degrees Celsius, and it is the only place in the world where, despite being in the minus, the water remains in the liquid form. So much cold immediately freezes the body, and due to hypothermia, a person dies. In addition, the weather in Drake Passage is very unpredictable. This is an area where fast winds, waves, and storms change very quickly. At times, this passage is calm and clear, while at other times it becomes stormy and dangerous. The scientific community has not yet been able to find the true cause of this abnormal weather here. Along with all this, many people also consider Drake Passage to be a unique and supernatural place. Some sailors and travelers have also noticed strange phenomena here, such as strange lights in the sky, the sudden deterioration of the compass, and such sounds have also been heard that science cannot explain. Let me tell you here that the ecosystem around Drake Passage is no less than a mystery, because in this area, due to Antarctic circumpolar currents, no creatures are found in the sea that are normally found in other seas. There are many different marine species here, whose bodies can easily tolerate minus temperature and high pressure. These extreme conditions can be very challenging for other marine species, which is why they have no sign here. But scientists are still unable to understand the real reason for this. All these phenomena of Drake Passage are beyond the understanding of scientific logic, so no one has been able to give a solid answer to them yet. In 1914, Panama Canal was built to avoid these dangers and long journeys, but even today, supersized cargo ships and expedition ships head for Drake Passage. I hope you will like and share this video of Info TV. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.